My father told me our family couldn't afford a plane ticket for me on the Christmas trip. Hours later, I saw my brother's photo from the business class lounge, my parents smiling behind him. Then his text, "Christmas is better without you?" What none of them knew was that a pilot was already waiting for me at another terminal. My name is Claire Whitfield. For 30 years, I was the daughter nobody worried about. My brother Tyler got everything first. Tutors, backyard parties, both parents at every game. I got a secondhand bicycle 2 years late and a split dinner bill for my birthday. Relatives called me independent, easy, low maintenance. I didn't realize those words meant permission to give me less. So I learned to need nothing. I built my career quietly, working the front desk at a small real estate office, studying old contracts on my lunch breaks, saving every spare dollar. 3 years later, I bought my first rundown property, telling no one. The sewer line collapsed a month in, $4,000 in debt. I cried once, then kept going. By year 4, I owned 3 properties. My family had no idea. That December, my father explained calmly why there was no budget for my ticket to Colorado. I smiled and said I'd figure it out. Then new luggage appeared, new ski gear, a new coat for my mother. They weren't broke. They'd simply decided I wasn't worth the seat. The night they left, nobody said goodbye, just a house key slipped under my door. Then I saw the photo. Champagne, laughter, a caption timestamped 2 hours old, meaning they'd left while I was still home wrapping their gifts. Then Tyler's text, "Christmas is better without you." I read it 3 times, waiting for the pain. Instead, something in me went quiet and final. I was done. I already had a business trip booked over the holiday, a private jet chartered months earlier for investor meetings. The next morning, I went to the airport too, not to beg for a seat, just to watch them one last time. I told them I'd come to see them off. Nobody asked what I'd be doing for Christmas. I walked away, crossed to the private terminal, and heard the pilot say, "Ma'am, your jet is ready." While they skied in Colorado, I closed deals with people who judged me on results, not family rank. I'd also spent the month before quietly removing every piece of furniture and every appliance I'd ever bought for their house. Not out of cruelty, just to stop living surrounded by reminders of everything I'd given people who gave nothing back. Their calls started confused, then frantic. I let them ring. When they finally got home and found the house half empty, my mother's voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Some things are missing," she said. "They were mine," I told her. My father called it extreme. I reminded him lying about a plane ticket while flying business class was the real extreme. My brother texted 3 days later, calling it dramatic. I didn't answer. Weeks of silence passed before the calls turned intentional. In March, my mother asked for coffee. She admitted she hadn't realized how much the family leaned on me until I stopped being there. I told her thinking about it and changing it were different things. She asked what starting over looked like. I told her it started with my place no longer being negotiable. "If there's no room for me at the table," I said, "I'll build my own." "You already have, haven't you?" she said. "Yes," I told her. "I have. I called one last family meeting." I told them plainly that being called independent for 30 years was never praise. It was permission to give me less. I told my father I knew about the lie, the photos, the text. My mother went pale. My brother called it ridiculous. I told him there had been a pattern, and patterns have consequences. One of which was a whole life they knew nothing about. Nothing was fixed perfectly that night, but something shifted. In the months after, small, ordinary things started happening. My mother asking my real opinion, my father saying my name like it mattered, my brother texting an honest question. Not dramatic reconciliation, just quiet, imperfect inclusion. And for me, that was enough. My business kept growing, built on discipline nobody taught me. When people ask how I did it, I tell them the truth. I stopped waiting for someone to give me what I wanted and started building it myself. That Christmas isn't a wound anymore. It's the day I finally chose myself. If any part of this sounds like your life, hear me clearly. You are not too much for wanting respect, and you are not selfish for building a life that no longer needs anyone's permission.